When our neighborhood caught fire, every second mattered, but Karen didn't care. She saw the sirens, the smoke, the flashing lights, and still stood in the street, arms crossed, yelling at firefighters that strangers aren't allowed past the HOA gates. What happened next? The whole disaster went viral. Her meltdown, her arrogance, and the price she paid for delaying first responders became national news. But the worst part? She picked the wrong house to block, and the internet made sure she never forgot it. I live in a quiet cul-de-sac where nothing much happens until it does. We're part of a gated HOA community, and while I don't usually love HOA rules, they do keep the place clean. But there's one rule even they never put in writing: don't mess with Karen. Karen is the self-proclaimed neighborhood sheriff, HOA board member, and full-time busybody. She walks around with a clipboard, peering over fences and snapping pictures of violations like sun-bleached lawn gnomes or trash cans out 5 minutes early. But one day, her obsession with control nearly killed someone. The fire. It was a dry summer, no rain in weeks. The grass was crispy and everyone was on edge. I lived next to the Richards family, a sweet older couple who'd lived here longer than the HOA even existed. That morning, around 9:47 a.m., I smelled it. Smoke. Not someone grilling or using a fire pit. This was chemical, toxic, burning plastic smoke. Then I heard the shouting. I ran outside and saw Mr. Richards in his driveway, coughing, trying to wave down help. His garage was on fire. The flames were licking up the walls fast, smoke billowing into the sky. I called 911. So did half the neighborhood. The fire department said they were 2 minutes out, but they never made it in time. Not because they weren't fast, but because of Karen. Karen, the gatekeeper. See, our community has a security gate at the entrance. It's keypad operated with a manual override for emergency services. But that morning, someone had reported a malfunction the night before. It hadn't been fixed yet. Meaning the only way in? The side entrance, through a small private road between two homes, Karen's house and her neighbor's. The fire truck pulled up to the gate, flashing lights blazing, horns sounding. When they couldn't get in, dispatch told them to use the side access. It's rarely used, but clearly marked emergency access only. As the truck turned in, Karen came charging out like a rabid chihuahua in a floral bathrobe. Her arms flailed. She screamed. And this part was caught on the firefighter's helmet cam. She stood directly in front of the truck and shouted,
"You can't just enter here! Strangers aren't allowed without HOA permission!"
One firefighter leaned out, clearly confused.
"Ma'am, we've got an active fire. Step aside."
But she held her ground.
"You can't be real!"
She barked.
"I've seen pranksters in fake uniforms before. I'll call the HOA president."
Yes, she tried to verify credentials, while a house burned just 300 feet away. The delay and the damage. It took another 4 minutes before her neighbor, Lucy, physically pulled Karen off the driveway. The firefighters had to literally nudge past her with the truck to get to the house. By then, it was too late for the garage. It collapsed minutes after they arrived. Fortunately, the Richards were okay, but they lost their car, tools, years of keepsakes, and half their home structure. All because Karen had a God complex. The fallout begins. Word spread fast. Someone, probably one of the firefighters, leaked the helmet cam footage. It showed her standing in the way, screaming about property rights and how dare you ignore me. The video hit Reddit by noon. By 3 p.m., #KarenBlocksFirefighters was trending on Twitter. By dinner time, she was all over YouTube. Reaction channels roasted her. Memes exploded. Someone auto-tuned her scream into a rap track called HOA Ain't Having It. And the kicker? She doubled down. Karen's press release. Instead of apologizing, she posted a public HOA notice on every neighbor's mailbox. It read, "To my fellow residents, the incident on Friday was an unfortunate misunderstanding. I was merely exercising due diligence to protect our neighborhood from impersonators. I hope in the future authorities will follow proper channels and not expect backdoor access." I almost choked when I read it. She was defending her actions after literally delaying an emergency response. Time for accountability. That's when I decided to act. I pulled together a group of neighbors, some of whom had been silently tolerating Karen's tyranny for years, and we filed a formal grievance with the HOA board, citing her obstruction of emergency services and inappropriate conduct under HOA Rule 4.3. Residents may not interfere with emergency personnel in the performance of their duties. To our surprise, the board actually listened. They scheduled a disciplinary hearing. Karen, being Karen, showed up in a suit with a binder of irrelevant documents, photos of other neighbors' infractions, and a printed-out screenshot of a firefighter who she claimed had smirked at her. But it didn't matter. The video was enough. One board member put it plainly. "You delayed first responders. That could have killed someone. You're done." Her internet fame grows. While the HOA suspended her from all community involvement, the internet was just getting started. A local news station aired the story that weekend. Then came the national coverage. Karen's name trended for 4 days straight. Her face was on morning shows, TikToks, and a parody skit on late-night TV. She became the face of HOA tyranny, the woman who blocked firefighters and tried to play victim. And the comments? Ruthless. Imagine dying in a fire because Susan from HR needed to check your badge first. Can we get Karen a gold medal for Olympic-level idiocy? HOA, helping out arsonists. Her reputation was toast. After Karen's disastrous confrontation with the fire department and her viral rise to infamy, you'd think she would lay low, apologize, maybe even do some community service to repair her image. But no, Karen doubled down. The HOA stripped her of her board privileges, banned her from all emergency-related decisions, and even implemented a new clause. Any resident interfering with emergency services will face immediate expulsion from the board and potential legal action. But Karen? She posted a YouTube video of herself explaining her side of the story, recorded in her kitchen, wearing pearls and a smug smile. "I was only protecting the community," she began, sipping tea. "These days, anyone can rent a truck and dress up like a firefighter. I had no choice but to ensure protocol was followed." The comment section was brutal. "You should have checked their credentials after they saved the burning house. Karen, the next time your kitchen catches fire, we'll be sure to send a fax request first. Did you also block ambulances because their sirens were too loud?" She turned off comments. But it was too late. The Richards family speaks up. Meanwhile, the Richards, whose home had partially burned, decided to speak to the press, not out of vengeance, but out of pain. Mr. Richards appeared on local TV with his wife beside him, holding a charred photo album. "It's not just things we lost," he said quietly. "We lost memories. We lost safety. And all because someone thought her clipboard was more important than firefighters doing their jobs." That broke people's hearts. And if there was any sympathy left for Karen, it evaporated right there. The HOA election that changed everything. It was HOA election season. Normally, these were sleepy affairs where the same 3 or 4 people got re-elected unopposed. But not this year. This time, I ran. Not because I wanted power, but because I realized how badly the community needed someone sane, fair, and accountable in charge. I created flyers, held meetups in the park, and yes, even hosted a fire safety seminar with the local fire chief as guest speaker. Karen tried to block me at every turn. She left snarky notes under people's doors, claiming I was exploiting tragedy for personal gain. But her efforts? Backfired. Every note she dropped became fuel for my victory. I won. By a landslide. Karen didn't even attend the announcement ceremony. She stayed inside, blinds shut, claiming she'd been bullied. Meanwhile, I became HOA president and pushed my first order of business. Install an emergency vehicle keybox at both entry gates. No more delays, no more Karens standing in the way. We funded it with leftover HOA surplus, and the entire board supported it unanimously. But karma wasn't done with Karen yet. 1 week later, Karen's internet infamy came full circle. A popular influencer who makes Karen reaction commentary found her original helmet cam video and remixed it into a Karen fire drill challenge. It exploded on TikTok. Suddenly, people were reenacting her meltdown in the most exaggerated ways. Someone stood in front of a toy fire truck yelling, "You can't be here." Another staged a backyard skit with sprinklers and someone in a robe screaming, "Strangers aren't allowed." Within days, Karen's name was a global meme, and she couldn't stand it. The meltdown. We all heard it, because Karen made sure of it. She stormed into the next HOA meeting where she was no longer allowed to vote, slamming down a folder of printed memes and video screenshots. "This is harassment," she cried. "You people have allowed the world to turn me into a joke. I was only enforcing community rules. I stayed calm." "No, Karen, you interfered with firefighters. This community isn't mocking you. The world is holding you accountable." She exploded. "This is your fault. If you hadn't run against me, none of this would have happened. You're just jealous of my authority." And then, in front of 30 residents, she did the one thing no one expected. She threatened to sue the HOA. The final blow, a lawsuit that backfired. She filed an official defamation claim against the HOA, saying we didn't protect her image or reputation. But here's the problem. We had video proof. HOA records of multiple complaints against her and public interviews she had voluntarily given to the media. Her case didn't just get thrown out of court. The judge fined her for wasting time. The defendant made herself a public figure by obstructing emergency services, the ruling stated. She cannot now claim to be a victim of her own actions. Mic dropped. The Internet's verdict. Karen became a cautionary tale. News sites ran op-eds titled, "Why HOA Power Trips Can Be Dangerous." Reaction channels used her clips to teach lessons on civic responsibility. And perhaps most ironically, the fire department issued a PSA. Don't be a Karen. Let us do our job. Peace, finally. The Richards rebuilt their garage with help from neighbors who rallied around them. We planted a new garden on their lawn. They even held a small community barbecue to thank everyone. Karen wasn't invited. Her house, still there, but quiet. No more clipboards, no more flyers, just silence. Sometimes when I walk my dog at night, I see the glow of her TV screen through the blinds. I wonder if she's watching another viral video of herself, but she doesn't bother anyone anymore. And as for the community, we're safer, stronger, and most of all, free from the tyranny of gatekeeping Karens. If you enjoy real HOA revenge stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep the stories coming, and who knows, your story might be next. Thanks for watching, and stay fire safe.